Hey chat, happy Halloween. Have you figured out what our costumes are yet? We've all got a theme going on. It will tell you at the end of the episode if you haven't been able to figure it out yet. All right, so the next class in the UA is the Path of the Storm Herald, Barbarian, Wield the Fury of the Storm. Here are the main updates in the subclass since its appearance in Xanathar. Storm Aura now scales with your rage damage bonus. In addition, Tundra has been redesigned to reduce a creature's damage instead of applying temporary HP. Raging Storm has each environment redesigned. Desert now makes a creature that failed the saving throw start burning. Sea can now chain the lightning bolt to another creature. Tundra now deals cold damage and halves a creature's speed. Okay, I'm not familiar with this subclass. I've never had anyone play this at my table or seen anyone at a table play this. Choose it. When you activate your rage, choose desert, sea, or tundra. Extend an aura. Oh no, wait, I have seen this one. Yeah. I've seen this. Okay.
with all of
Thoughts,
these like
guys?
with all of these elemental based subclasses, I'm always confused. Like if I were designing this, it would either be here's a Swiss Army knife of like all of the elements, or here's the tundra barbarian, here's the sea barbarian, here's the desert barbarian. Um, and we get that with the Frosty Ranger that we're going to talk about eventually. Like they do that some of the time, but like a lot of the time it's just like here's a smattering.
hmm
And I would just personally, design wise, I would just prefer a more focused thing. And I guess you can focus it in, like you can be a Path of the Storm and just only roll desert because that fits your character and your concept. But I don't know. It seems like if you're going to give me the kitchen sink, fill it up to the top, or my preference is give me the path of the sandstorm barbarian and make it all desert. And I
Hmm.
can't do cold damage when I feel like it. Like I'll take that. That's just me. But yeah, also I haven't seen many Path of the Storm heralds roll up to Adventures League or whatever table.
Twinstone
Yeah.
says his wifey played one for 5 to 20, and that's a long time.
Ooh.
Yeah. The thing I remember seeing the most, like right after, because the Storm Herald was in Xanathar's, right? If I'm remembering that right.
Yes.
So yeah. So what I remember seeing most was like the Thor based character where you were multi-classing um the what's the cleric subclass that was storm
Mm-hmm.
themed? Tempest
Mm-hmm.
cleric, multi-classing Tempest cleric with this storm barbarian. Um, I remember seeing those builds when I was running Adventure League, like back in the day.
Fun story about playing D&D with my wife. I made that basically. I made Thor. I made a Tempest cleric and was all like call lightning. And then my wife, who was playing a druid, I forget her subclass, but rolled up and was like, "Call lightning's a pretty good spell, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure is. Let me just recheck my spell list here for a happy marriage." Okay, new concept. So I did not fully play Thor.
All right, so moving on to the bubbity bub, the Cavalier. Like, was it Eric on the cartoon? Eric was the Cavalier?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which uh, fun bit of history in first edition, the Cavalier actually was one of the three classes that appeared in the original Unearthed Arcana book, which was Unearthed Arcana was basically like a player's handbook 2 with a little bit of Dungeon Master 2 thrown in there. So Unearthed Arcana was one of the first like expansions to the rules after the core books came out for first edition, and it had the Cavalier. Um, I want to say it had the Barbarian and the Thief Acrobat, and that's why the Acrobat and the
Mm-hmm.
Cavalier were in the TV show.
Diana. Yeah, if can we pop it over to Jim's Corner for just a second? I rewatched basically almost all of the cartoons a couple years ago when they launched that D&D Fast channel, and you know what? Eric really, really bullies Bobby. Eric's like 17, 18, Bobby's 11, 12, and Eric is just straight up bullies him every single episode.
Hmm.
I used to think it was teasing when I was a kid, but no, now it's bullying. He's ruthless to that young man, and
Yeah.
it's not okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was the 80s. Like bullying was ridiculously common. Like
Yes, Eric.
I still go to therapy because of the bullying that I received and the bullying I did as a
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. Anyway, don't be an Eric. Okay, so the Cavalier, defend your allies on foot or from a mount. Here are the updates since Xanathar's. Unwavering Mark no longer has limited uses. Ferocious Charger has been redesigned to give a burst of speed during the first round of each combat. So you get a bonus proficiency, born to the saddle of advantage, and saving throws made to avoid falling off. You can land on your feet like a cat. You only use 5 feet to mount. Okay. Mark. I played a mostly mounted paladin in a campaign a couple years ago. It was very OP. The dungeon master didn't like it. He told me so after a few sessions. He was like, "You make it very hard to do combat."
Mm.
Yeah, mounted combat is OP in D&D, but most people don't want to fuss with it, I think. Oh, do you guys have thoughts on the Cavalier?
Yeah, I mean, just first glance at this, it does look like that they're trying to improve it. I feel like when it comes to the fighter subclasses, Purple Dragon Knight and the Cavalier were kind of the bottom of the barrel. So it looks like they're trying to upgrade it from where it was.
Mounts feel like a boondoggle, or like maybe more like vestigial, because they're very cool. Like they are out of balance. You can do some really cool stuff, and then you go into the dungeon, and you're like, "So where's your horse now?" Like it creates
Yeah.
all of these issues, and like no one's rolling around with like hirelings anymore to like tend the wagon. So I think the counterbalance to all the benefits is the logistics of like, all right, how many pounds of oats are you carrying, right? But no one plays that way. So it is kind of a holdover from a different game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
This 15th level feature is, I know you rarely get to 15th level, but this is pretty crazy where first round you don't provoke opportunity attacks because also when you play mounted combat, you just have your mount disengage every round and then you get 50 feet of free movement wherever you want. So an additional 10 feet and they're going to dash that round, and then that means they get 120 feet of movement basically. Yeah, that's monk level stuff. Quit stepping on the monk. Speaking of, the Drunken Master has been renamed to the Warrior of Intoxication. Was Drunken Master a problem? Was that a problem?
Well, the new code for monk is they're all warrior of. So
And they can say like Warrior of IPA.
yeah,
The bottle.
warrior of drunkenness.
I do like that this broadens it up. Like maybe I want to like make an assassin, and like my guy's not drunk; he's just high on hashish.
There you go. I suppose they're opening it up to new substances.
Open
Yeah.
your mind, Jim. Try more substances.
I guess so.
Are you experienced?
Yeah,
Wanna
I
be
mean, you could also do some sort of like psychedelic using Viking character with this warrior of intoxication.
Exactly, and you could also show up as a guy with parachute pants covered in safety pins and glow sticks.
There you go.
He'd be a warrior of glow sticks, if you know what I mean.
I have participated in several glow stick battles in my formidable youth.
multi-class into barbarian, and now you're the rave rager.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
The Rave Rager.
that
There you go. So the Warrior of Intoxication Mystic Brew is a new feature that lets the monk create magical brews. They can drink to gain long-lasting benefits. So a little artificer there. Master Brewer is a new feature that replaces Drunker's Luck. The feature adds additional beverage options to Mystic Brew. So what's this new Mystic Brew? Whenever you finish a short or long rest while holding brewer supplies, you can use that tool to magically produce one magical beverage. Chosen from the following options: Cinnamon Dragon, Heavenly Spirit, or Refreshing Dip. The beverage appears in a bottle or cask, and the bottle vanishes when the beverage is drunk or poured out. If any beverage remains when you finish a short or long rest beverage, only you gain the benefit. You can spend 1 minute. Does where there. Okay, Cinnamon Dragon, magic action to exhale toxic flames in a 30-foot cone. Heavenly Spirit, you gain resistance, psychic and radiant damage, refreshing dip. When you gain hit points, you can regain additional hit points equal to a roll of your martial arts die. Huh.
Yeah.
Eh.
it's cool, but it's giving barista, not necessarily like monks making potent brews.
Gentlemen, if I can have your attention.
Oh, Cinnamon Dragon.
If I can have your attention, please focus on the main stage.
Legit. So my friendly local neighborhood game shop has a coffee shop inside of it now, and I'm pretty sure there's a cinnamon dragon on the menu. And if not, there will be next week after this.
All right, so after the Cinnamon Dragon, we have the Oathbreaker, which I'm not so sure how I feel about you being able to choose the Oathbreaker at level 3. I don't know. I got to think about it. Because I mean, I guess I get the idea of building an evil paladin, somebody who broke their oath long ago, but I don't know. Did you earn it?
Yeah. I feel like you want to take whatever your cool backstory idea is and like bring it to the table. Like talk about it with the DM and actually put it in the story. Don't put all the cool stuff in before you even like start your first session. So I mean, I guess if you're starting at level 1 though, which I guess I feel like I'm one of the only people that consistently starts at level 1. I suppose you could do a story arc, from level 1 to 3, during what levels 1 and 2 where you break your oath.
Yeah, that's long been a problem, right? The level 3 subclass. What do you do if your subclass is baked into your character? That's long been a thing where like I had a guy at my table play something and I don't remember exactly what it was now, but it was important to the character and I just said, like just don't use it mechanically until level 3. It could be role play the shit out of it, include it in your character or whatever, but you just can't use it mechanically to get advantages until you were at the appropriate level. I gotta think about that. I can't remember what that was. Anyway, so the Oathbreaker gets Conjure Undead. Now lets you briefly summon undead to aid you. Dreadful Aspect now loops through the Divine Smite spell. Huh. Oathbreaker spells has new spells. Aura of Hate now adds its effect to your Aura Protection. The Aura now benefits only fiends and undead that are your allies. Dreadlord now imbues your Aura of Protection and can be recharged by expending a level 5 spell slot. So Conjure Undead. That's basically the same aspect. Immediately after you cast Divine Smite, you can expend one use to your channel ability to channel a burst of magical meneth. Each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation originating from you must succeed Wisdom saving throw, frightened for 1 minute. Huh. Okay.
Look at me, I'm a cleric.
Huh. So Oathbreaker spells, so we get Hellish, Witch Bolt, Crown of Madness, Darkness, Fear, Summon Undead, Blight, Phantasmal Killer, Contagion, Steel Wind Strike. Shadow Strike is a bonus action. You can make a melee spell attack, shaping the gloom, exuding from each of the blade. One creature in your aura protection on a hit, the attack deals 3 necrotic damage, 3d10 plus your charisma modifier. Wait a second. Oh, that's
That's
the high level thing. That's 20th level. Gotcha.
Look at me, I'm Lord Soth.
Pagination.
Yeah, that's definitely what the Dreadlord 20th level ability is supposed to be reminiscent of, right?
Dragonlance confirmed.
They're rebooting Dragonlance already, finally.
Again.
Again.
Maybe.
Nacho, I'm sorry. Nacho's a big fan of Dragonlance, and I know he's getting his heart toyed with again and again by Joe Mango Jello. What did you Mango Jello?
Joe Mango Jello.
Mango Jello. Mango Jello.
I will say this about that Dragonlance thing. It was ambitious, and I really wanted the board game to work.
Mm-hmm.
I know it didn't, and I know it failed, and people didn't like it. I thought that was a good idea, though.
Yeah, no, I think it was a great idea. Yeah,
and I really wanted it to work. But cue steponrakes.gif.
Yeah, I love Dragonlance. We played it for most of the 90s. Like growing up as a kid, we did like the Greyhawk modules and like, you know, our own like homebrewed dungeon crawls all through the 80s. But by the time we got to like the late 80s, like 88, we were very much steeped in Dragonlance, and we ran like 3 consecutive Dragonlance campaigns that took us like 6 years to do all 3 of those campaigns. They were largely centered on my character that was a what was the Knight of the Lance. So like, in order to go from a Knight of the Crown to the Knight of the Sword, you had to go on a quest, so forth and so on. And so my character went on all of his quests to get all the way up to Knight of the Rose, and that was kind of the plot device that drove our 3 Dragonlance campaigns.
Nice. Well, speaking of things that remind you of the 1980s, like Lord Soth and Knights of Salmania, that's not right, is it?
Salami. It's salami.
Knights of Salami. Yeah, it's salami. So speaking of that, the Old School Essentials is made some announcements that they are going to be combining and simplifying all of their various editions for 2026. 2026 is will be the 7th birthday, so what they've said, because they have Classic Fantasy, Advanced Fantasy, Classic Game Set, Advanced Expansion Set. It's too many things apparently, and so they say that what they're doing going forward is that next year they're going to be releasing one rule set to rule them all.
Nice.
And it's just going to be a new Advanced Fantasy and referee. I guess Classic Fantasy is going away. And if I could time out here, I don't know much about the OSE. Can someone explain to me the difference between the Classic and Advanced versions in a condensed answer? Do either of you guys know?
I think I know, but Ryan, do you know for sure?
It's confusing as hell, and like you were there for it, but it's in my understanding it's more BX versus more 2nd edition, but they're both like Old School Essentials has done a great job of making them approachable and reasonable, and they were pretty similar, and they end up looking a little more similar. So it has been a stumbling point for a lot of people of like which one of these sets of books do I get? And the answer is like, well, you can use them all together. And that is actually not a great answer for someone who's trying not to buy all of the books. So yes, that my understanding is it's BX as close as possible, cleaned up and modernized. And it's AD&D.
Right.
Cleaned up and modernized.
Yeah. So one is BX and one is AD&D. There's actually Ben Milton and at least 2 other people, I can't remember who, have done videos about how to get started in OSE, because there's like these 3 different variations on the OSE rules. So if you can make a 15-minute video describing the difference between your games, you probably need to do a refresh like this.
This just always reminds me of that XKCD comic where the first panel is the guy saying, there are 14 competing Java standards, and that's why we're releasing Super Java. And then in the next panel, it says, there are 15 competing Java standards. We're releasing Super Java to unite them all. But so the main thing, they say it will be 100% compatible, and it's going to have a lot of stuff like class tweaks, optional rules, including training, XP for magic items, hovering at death's door, higher hit die types, a la AD&D, and it says like appendices for those with tables. So it's going to be the advanced fantasy, so less the BX version, but it's going to have some additional tables for that. Compatible with older books, and I did bury the lead a bit, is that I think probably one of the main reasons why they started doing this was to rid themselves, was to change because they wanted to change dexterity to agility, and because they wanted to change beholder to
Hi, Tyrant.
eye floating eye meatball eye stock guy, which is their wholly original name.
OGL free.
Yeah, OGL free.
GMO free, OGL free, MSG free.
Yeah, no MSG. So yeah, they are releasing. There's no timeline. It is sometime next year when this is happening. So I don't know. I'm not really an old school kind of guy. This doesn't really have any effect on me. Is this something? Are classic players going to be mad?
You might find some BX folks who are like hard pressed that species and class need to essentially be the same thing. Like the fact that elf needs to be a class and halfling needs to be a class instead of how we've done it ever since AD&D, where you pick a class, pick a race, right? But yeah, some people are very, very like staunch that elf and dwarf and halfling need to be classes, not a separate species where you mix and match.
And I would bet that this is going to do both. He does both, or they do both, I should say. It's a full company. It's hard to give one dude credit for 50 people's worth of labor. But they do both in Dolmenwood, which is the built on the backbone of old school essentials. So it's the internet. They're grognards out there. Someone's going to get upset no matter what you do, or if you don't do anything. So yeah, someone's going to be mad somewhere. But I think this is actually a great thing if you're trying to run a kind of old school experience. Old school essentials is the cleanest, most like vibrant version out there. I'm a big fan of the rule set and just the approachability of it all. And if you're out there and you're thinking about making stuff, looking at Necrotic Gnome's ability to deliver information succinctly and cleanly is deeply inspiring. So just on the layout alone, it's worth looking at. It's minimal in a way that gets the ideas in your brain, but it is not sanitized like so many other creators who try to go the minimalist route. There's still a lot of meat on the bone. It's flavorful, but you cut to the chase and you're not stumbling over high Gygaxian.
Yeah. I think I've always said that OSE is like the S tier OSR product, right? It's like it's very well made, like Ryan just said, both design and layout and quality. It is the most expensive one also, but it's I've always said it was S tier, like it's your go-to old school product if you really want to fork out a little bit of extra money for really good quality. Then Shadow Dark came along, and it's kind of given it a run for its money. I would say for the price point, Shadow Dark is probably the best OSR product, but some people would argue that it's not really OSR; it's a streamlined 5e. But people.
All right. So, any other thoughts here on 2026 Old School Essentials plan?
I think it's a good plan. I mean, you don't need a product line where content creators have to make videos explaining your product line so that it doesn't confuse people.
Yeah. That is better. So moving on to the next thing that we are going to talk about, Critical Role Campaign 4 is in full swing, and if you didn't know, Ryan and I have been doing a little extra show on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, maybe Monday. You never know when the feck we're coming at you. You're never gonna know. But we've been doing a little Critical Role recap and having a bit of fun. And Brad could not care less, so he does not come.
I don't even know if I got the invite, but no, I love it. Like we're stealing Rich Eisen's shtick, casual Friday on a Tuesday.
Uh, but so if you were looking for more content to watch, more actual play content to watch, there are a slew of Daggerheart actual plays that are finna launch like right now. One of them is being Dungeons and Daddies are doing Con Oz, which is a mashup of Wizard of Oz, Con Air, and Oz the Prison, the HBO show. So I mean, okay. With Daggerheart to weave a tale of crime, magic, and chaos. And if you don't know Dungeons and Daddies, they are very, very, very fun. Um, it's very. It started out the first season, first campaign is very much a D&D podcast. After that, it's mostly just like improv comedy. Very, very little D&D. But I would like to see them play Daggerheart. Also, yesterday there was the Dispatch one shot last night. I haven't got a chance to see it yet, but they were playing Daggerheart apparently with the Dispatch one shot for Critical Role. Dispatch is a new video game that is supposed to recreate the old Telltale sort of visual novel storytelling. And I guess it's got a bunch of episodes. I'm not going to mess with it till all the episodes are out because I don't want to play half a video game and then wait 6 months and then play the other half. So they did a one shot using a similar kind of setting. And then also, the Legends of Advantris are just about to launch their Daggerheart 3-part miniseries. They're doing a Colossus of the Drylands, which is that kind of like wiki Weird West. And I'm really interested in that one. I really like the Legends of Advantris guys because to become the number 2 actual play out there and for none of them to be camera pretty. Everyone on Critical Role, they're all voice actors, but every single one of them is camera pretty. And the Advantris people, they just look like normal people. And yet their podcast is amazingly popular and from what I've seen, pretty good. The parts I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but pretty good. So I don't know, any thoughts there, guys?
I think it's cool just to see more Daggerheart content getting out there. Like, just anything that's not Dungeons and Dragons that's getting a good amount of positive attention is a good thing for the hobby. Not because I hate D&D, it's just D&D is so ubiquitous. It's nice to see other games getting the spotlight.
I'm trying to parse out, and it's hard because there's no like way to measure counterfactuals, but I think Critical Role not doing Daggerheart for campaign 4 actually opened the gates for other folks to do it and not be directly competing with Critical Role. And from an artistic standpoint, that's really interesting to me. And from a business standpoint, that's interesting to me. I don't know if we would see this like Daggerheart like I don't know ascending wave of actual plays if Critical Role was doing it, but Critical Role is doing D&D 2024, and that kind of leaves a lane open for other people who, if they have success, maybe won't stop if and when Critical Role shifts in a couple of years after C4 is over. It's interesting. I was very much of the opinion that like, yeah, they have to do Daggerheart. And then when they didn't, I thought it was just about timing. But I do think maybe there is more value in them getting out of the way and letting other people adopt the system and kind of broaden the base for them. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know if that is the strategy or just a side effect or what, but it is curious to me. We haven't really seen something like this before, I think, where like such a powerful force in the industry that is mainly the actual play, has a system behind it. It's kind of a cross pollination here. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I am a big fan of Daggerheart, and I think it is maybe more interesting to watch than 5e 2024 for a lot of reasons.
Mr. Welch makes a very interesting point here. The problem with Daggerheart is that if you're going to live stream it, you need a top-down camera for maximum effect with all the cards. That's a good point. One thing that always baffled me about Critical Role, especially for the episodes that were sponsored by D&D Beyond, is that they all use D&D Beyond for their character sheets. Why do they never do a screen share when they're rolling, or looking up something in the character sheet? They could show that. When Wizards of the Coast puts out their actual plays, they do cut-ins of the actual character sheet, and you can see the digital dice rolling. And I know they like to roll real dice, but they could show us the character sheets. We know Matt Mercer makes all the magic items in D&D Beyond. We know he does this. So, yeah, the point there is a tactile advantage with being able to show the cards if you had a top-down camera that doesn't really, I don't know if it really benefits you in D&D, because if you're using paper character sheets, you got to zoom in pretty close. Mm-hmm. Those cards are big,
Even just throwing them up on the screen, because they all have art to them. They're all they are much more visually appealing. It's interesting that we didn't see that.
You wouldn't necessarily need a top-down camera. If your live stream is being produced where you have somebody off camera who's, tweaking things and, controlling your, your assets, behind the screen, you could just have, digital copies of the cards and pop them up on the screen when someone uses that ability. So that way you wouldn't have to figure out, get the camera right and have everybody sit in the right place and all that sort of stuff.
Critical Role's never done a top-down. They've never shown their dice trays. They've never done top-down because, you see the cast with their phones at the table, and they wouldn't be able to have a top-down camera. They wouldn't be able to look at their phones, or if they have anything personal there at their stations at the desk, they would have to be real careful with it if they knew they were. Anyway, so moving on, I don't know if you guys heard anything about this, but there were a couple of new books that came out this week from Wizards of the Coast. Some new setting called Fae Run, also known as the Forgotten Realms. They've rebooted it again, and I'm trying to get anyone to tell me if these books are any good or not, because I don't own them. You guys don't own them either, right? Or did either you buy them?
No.
I'm waiting for word on this. Nacho got them digitally because he lives in the Shire, so it takes a while for things to ship down that way. And a couple people this morning on Discord were talking about how the player book is a little bit light. It seems like the Dungeon Master's book has a lot of those. This is an adventure that's a one-page sort of thing. I don't know. We'll see. I'm waiting. It seems like all the news is about the subclasses, and then there's buzz about circles. Again, we were on that early. Maybe we'll do a little more on that. But I don't know. We'll see.
But we got a Game Rant article detailing the 8 subclasses that are in it. The Bard, College of the Moon, Cleric, Knowledge Domain, Fighter, the Banneret, Paladin, Oath of Noble Genies, Ranger, Winterwalker, Rogue, Scion of the Three, Sorcerer, Spellfire, Sorcery, and Wizard, the Blade Singer. The Blade Singer, previously discussed, very OP.
Boo!
Very OP. But fun to play. Spellfire, Sorcerer, gives over feature to... I don't have a whole lot of other information about this. I was hoping one of you guys had bought the book. I don't really want to buy it. I don't care.
It's it feels fast. It feels like everyone who bought the Sword Coast Adventures guide regretted it. So I think there's that sort of like precedent hanging over this one.
Right.
Um, the fact that it's 2 books, like I don't need subclasses. I'm running the game. Um, if this was a book of Greyhawk, like maybe I'd buy it for a ton of the lore. I'm not that hungry for Forgotten Realms lore. Spent more time than I want to admit on that stupid wiki. Like I'm oversaturated on it, I think. So
Yeah.
we'll
I,
see.
I I feel the same way with the Sword Coast and Faerun, and it's just yeah, I mean, we've been steeped in it for over 10 years now, and like we've all watched Jordan the PH is Silent, right? When we need to know something about Forgotten Realms. I don't know. I'm with you. I'm not excited about Forgotten Realms content.
Hmm.
These subclasses,
Uh,
we've seen most of them before. Like these are just like polished up updates.
Yeah, the Genie Paladin I think is the only like truly new one, and it's really just a Paladin version of the Genie Warlock that we had in 5e, right? That's if I remember correctly when we looked over the UA.
Yeah, and it's just
I don't remember that
it's
one in the UA. I don't remember this one.
that's your purple dragon knight, but they cleaned it up.
Oh.
Yeah. Then
Oh.
they gave it a more generic name, so
Yeah.
people wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're only allowed to use that in Forgotten Realms."
I remember this guy. I remember thinking, why does he exist?
Yes.
I would rather, and again, this is like pie in the sky thinking, and it's probably like economically not viable, but like I would rather you give me an adventure with subclasses and like have sort of a bespoke, like here is your Neverwinter campaign with your Neverwinter classes. Here's your Icewind Dale campaign with your Icewind Dale classes. Like, yeah, you want to bring
Hmm.
something else to the table, sure. And that would make it a little bit easier to understand why I'm getting some subclasses per like I'm not getting all of the classes. Like why isn't every class getting a subclass in a release? You want to give me 6 or 8 that are thematic to a thing, cool. Like you want to give me a curated experience, but it just feels like I don't know. They're giving us the most popular things that they think are going to have the broadest appeal,
Hmm.
probably based on the fact that they've already done most of these, so they know that.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea, Ryan, of like having subclasses in your adventure book, especially since mechanically the game is kind of designed for 4 players, right? Like that's kind of the sweet spot that they aim for with design is they're expecting you to have 4 players at your table. If every adventure book came with 4 subclasses, right? That would give incentive. I mean, maybe you don't want to incentivize players to buy the adventure book so they're not like cheating.
Mm.
But you could also do like you know a purchase on D&D Beyond where you just get those 4 subclasses that come with that adventure, right?
Not
Some sort of
anymore.
the a la carte thing.
They done did away with a la carte. Worst decision they ever made.
Yeah, I guess,
I,
but I mean, they could like it wouldn't be a la carte if it was like for D&D Beyond, it was 2 different books, right? So you have like a $10 book of the subclasses and then a $30 book for the adventure, $20 book for the adventure. Or
Yeah,
you
the
just
sub
buy the one hardback and the hardback has it all together.
yeah, the subclass book could come with also like here's some background suggestions that would work well for this campaign, without spoilers.
Hmm.
And maybe like a pitch on the world, like here's what the average person knows about the world. Like an information packet. Like the way that the what was one of the Eberron books was like that. It was like the player's guide to Eberron, or the
Hmm.
adventurer's guide to Eberron, and it was geared toward players with like, here's the lore that you should know about this world before engaging in a campaign with it.
Yeah, and like the one of the first I think it was like the second adventure, right? The Princes of the Apocalypse adventure. That came out with a player's guide that had like the Goliath species and the Genasi species and a bunch of, I think, backgrounds or something, and spells. There were
Yep.
a few spells that were in there that kind of broadened out the elemental aspect of things in order to, give you player content for that specific adventure. And I thought that was a good model. Back then, and the player guide was free, which was really cool because 5e was just taking off. I like that concept.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that it's not super well received, I think, because it didn't mesh well with the rest of the system because it kind of came out before it and was made by other people. But that player's guide to Elemental Evil but like that little supplement, yeah, is exactly what I'm describing. Like that is I would rather show up with a Winter Walker Ranger in an Icewind Dale campaign
Mm-hmm.
than one that's like more OP, that because it fits the theme. What I don't want is to get really excited about a Winter Walker and show up and it's just like, all right, we're going to hell.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, it's not great.
I'm probably going to stop by the game store tomorrow, so I'll flip through it, and who knows, maybe I'll come home with it, but I don't know. I agree, Nacho. I like also that it's more than just the Sword Coast. We're actually getting to see some of the other interesting areas in Faerun.
Yeah, if you weren't going to go with like Greyhawk as your new fresh setting for the new edition of D&D, it would make sense to set your adventures away from the Sword Coast for the 2024 edition of D&D, because there's so much going on in Faerun. That you could have a Thay adventure, you could have Moonshae Isles adventure, you could have a lot of other adventures and just basically steer this new edition away from the Sword Coast. I think that would I think the only thing they'd be missing the boat on is Baldur's Gate, but they missed the boat on that a long time ago.
Well, I mean, look at this picture here. They're trying. They're trying. It's a little late, but the game's still pretty popular. A lot of people still play it. And Twin Steel, didn't they put out stats for all of the companion characters? I think they did put out actual stats. Or maybe I'm confusing that with the movie. I know they put out stats for the movie characters.
They definitely started those. They made character sheets for the movie characters. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the refutation to my complaint with all of this is it's the rest of Forgotten Realms. It's the Forgotten Realms. It's not just the Sword Coast. So if you have a table of players who are, deeply invested in this setting already and are loath to change, as 5e players tend to be, then yeah, here's like what's going on in Thay. Let's ride. I can see the appeal for certain people.
Well, I'll flip through it. We'll see. So moving on, we now come to the part of the show that we call the catch up, where we just catch up with what we're doing. Hey, let's look at each other's faces a little closer here. Hey, everybody. So loth to change. I see what you did there, Twin Steel. That's a good one.
I hate it.
I have an interesting bit of catch up. So I think I told everyone we finished our Dungeon of the Mad Mage campaign last week.
Right.
And this week we had sort of a post-campaign wrap-up to talk about stuff, about what's coming forward. We reminisced for a long, long time, and then we finally talked about what we're going to do next. But during the reminiscing, it's funny because, I've been going to bat for Dungeon of the Mad Mage for on this show for a while now. It's mostly to illustrate the point that it's like it's less what's written down in the adventure module and more the people at the table and the way it's run that equals fun at the table. And so I've been going to bat for Dungeon of the Mad Mage. And what's funny is in this reminiscing session, the DM complained about Dungeon of the Mad Mage the whole time. He had nothing good to say about it. What's funny is apparently a lot of the clever stuff that I thought he did or that was in the module, apparently he bought multiple like campaign fixer books from the DM's
Hmm.
Guild. He spent
Okay.
quite a bit of money to buy like here's ways to add plot into this chapter, and so it was all like supplemental material that according to him made the adventure rich and have an overarching story and all this stuff. So I don't know, I bought the book, I haven't read it yet, but I finished the campaign, so I'm gonna read it now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I didn't do reviews on my channel, because I never run an adventure as written. Like, I always hack it up. I'm like, oh, this would be a cool idea if I do this, or my player comes up with some unique character concept. I'm like, oh, let's tweak this in the adventure to support this character's backstory. So I'm not good at reading a book and pointing out like what's good about it and what's not good about it, because I just use a book as like to spitball brainstorming. Like, I look at a chapter and I'm like, oh, I could run this. I got all sorts of ideas now from reading this, because I don't run it as written. So I'm just not good at reviewing products in that way.
If I'm going to talk about a thing, I start by running things pretty straight. I will customize it based on somewhat on player backgrounds. If someone's bringing a lot of like backstory to the table, I like starting from a place where it's just like I don't care. Like I'm pretty good at finding the problems. Like that's stupid. That doesn't make sense. Like those leap off the page at me. But I like not having a feeling of ownership over the thing that I am running, so I can totally throw it out. Like, you want to burn this castle down? Okay, cool. Like, I got 3 more on the bookshelf. Let's go. We will customize it as you interact with it. I think that's one of the strongest arguments for running a pre-published thing, is that you don't have that, oh, my precious lore dump that I'm going to totally hit you over the head with because I spent hours last night thinking about it. The cool stuff is cool, and like you inject a little more of your own cool stuff into it, but it doesn't feel as tied to your ego in a lot of ways. But there's pitfalls. There are things where you're like, oh, yeah, I guess that doesn't make any sense, and now I have to make up something to make it make sense, or just don't cut to black and hope they never ask about it again or something. Yeah, everyone's looking for different stuff, so it's impossible to have one adventure to rule them all and make everybody happy.
So Brad, Brian, you got to catch up.
Yeah, so I actually have been playing Vampire the Masquerade for this. Crazy, the fact that like Vampire was one of the most popular games outside of D&D all through the 90s. And I never played it, I never ran it, but I am now finally playing in a short campaign. The first story arc is scheduled to run for 4 sessions. We might run two more 4-session arcs, because everybody seems to be really enjoying it. I really enjoy the character creation of Vampire, because like the way you do character creation, it helps you build a backstory for your character. I do think it's unnecessarily crunchy. There's 9 attribute scores, where D&D only has 6, and 27 skills. So there's a lot there that I think you could trim the fat and make a more streamlined system. But outside of that, like I think it's really cool. One of the things, Jim, if you want to steal this for your D&D game video, Vampire the Masquerade has at least the 5th edition version. That's the one we're playing. Your character starts with an ambition and a desire, and it's basically like your long-term goal and your short-term goal. And so like whatever your desire can change each session, if you wanted to. But your desire is what I hope to accomplish next session. And your ambition is like this overarching goal that you have, to try to resolve by the end of the campaign. So with each game session, you're trying to do something that moves your ambition forward, and you're trying to accomplish whatever your most recent desire is. And it's a cool, like simple, like guidelines to help players focus their role play. And that seems to help the story move forward.
You know what I really like about Vampire is the one advantage it has over D&D is there is no central motivation for all D&D characters. There's treasure and adventure, but there's no central motivation. But Vampire has that central motivation of hunger built into every single PC, so there's always a conflict there, and the idea of the masquerade itself is this sort of universal rule for every, pretty much every campaign, every game. It has, every vampire has to abide by the masquerade between the muggles and the vampires. So that brings its own interesting layer. So I always find that fascinating that D&D doesn't have anything like that. There's no unifying story thread that puts everything on the same page.
Yeah. Have you played other editions of Vampire, Jim?
I have not.
Okay. So I don't know if this is unique to 5th edition, because I haven't played the previous editions of Vampire, but the hunger thing factors into every dice roll, right? So with every dice roll, you build a pool.
Roll your hunger die.
Yeah. And one of your dice in your pool has to be a hunger dice, and what you roll on that can move up your hunger. To where then you're like, bloodlust once you max out your hunger, which is cool. It's it's a good game. I'm actually pretty impressed with it.
We're having a fight between the vampire houses in chat.
I love it. I love it. What am I up to? I kind of had to clear the decks. We talked about the food fight, the kerfuffle that was going on last week, and it got my wheels turning about bad actors in this space and what's wrong with them and how easy it is to dunk on them. And I tried to rein in my I don't know, the shadow version of Ryan that just wants to be a smug jerk on the internet. And I tried to make like a positive video about like what to do about gatekeepers in this hobby. And I think occasionally it's worth acknowledging that they are out there. Because sometimes like older white dude doesn't get the same sort of resistance as other folks out there. So being like, hey, these guys are out there and they do not represent the majority of the people who are interested in this or who make up this community. And also they're silly. Don't listen to them. But I had to get that off my chest. So I think it's an okay video. I also really did a deep dive into Twin Peaks to find a lot of clips because I wanted to have fun and make an art sort of art is a strong word. It's more craft. It's like decoupage.
Ryan, I saw your video, and for the content and presentation, I would give you a 10 out of 10, but for incitement to anger, only like a 2 out of 10. I didn't finish that video feeling angry at all, so I was kind of disappointed.
That's why it's not going to perform very well. And like I knew that. Like there's another version of that video that does amazing, but I didn't want to make it. I don't know. I didn't want to do it. Short term versus long term. Yeah. It's not even fear. I made sure it's like I was ready for the heat. I was like, maybe I even want the heat. But like, I don't know. Just like, yes, you stare into the abyss and the abyss stares back, right?
Yeah. The abyss also has internet access and a YouTube account.
Yeah. I feel like we do a good job of like not getting ourselves into brawls with other channels. It'd be pretty easy to just go at another channel that you have strong disagreements with. I just don't know if like that's not the kind of space I want to create. I feel like, when you create a YouTube channel, you're creating space to invite people in to have conversation with you. You're going back to Matt Colville's recent video, you're building a community around your brand. And I don't want to build a community of like, picking fights with other people.
Yeah, I've been on the receiving end of it, and it is weird. It is hard to just push it from your mind sometimes. It's also like a very bad look. Like watching somebody just like watch a video for like 10x the amount of time the video lasts and just talking shit about it is like, okay, so this is what you do with your precious time. Okay, cool. Confirmed. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
In the chat thing over here, if you ask a question, it marks it with a question mark, and it gives it a slight little highlight there.
Huh.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Ooh.
Twin Steel, yes, it is gay to like women, to answer your question. I was just watching a video today about performative. That's the new buzzword, performative males, which is just the same thing that they called metrosexual 15 years ago.
That's funny, because if you say performative male, and I think alpha male, I think the guy who's doing maleness to prove how manly he is, which is always sus for me.
What performative male now means is tote bag, drinking a matcha, reading a feminist book in public. That's performative male. And it's just a way for the alpha males to quietly call them gay. The same thing with metrosexual. Some men took care of themselves, and so the rugged guys were like, they're all metro, which is just a way they can say gay without actually getting in trouble for it online. So that's what performative now means, is they're calling you gay.
Yeah, that guy goes home and shaves his chest and oils it up for his bros to see his pecs. So like, it's all very. It's just the lady doth protest too much. It's like underlying so much of all of that. Like, go do your thing, but if you're putting so much energy into like what you're not to define you and shore up your fragile ego, you're telling on yourself, guys.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was recently a judge in a very tongue-in-cheek contest. It was a performative male contest. So it was a local bar. They did this contest where you came dressed as your best version of a performative male, and then they had a panel of these 3 women who judged you. It was pretty hilarious.
I do have a messenger bag. I feel like I could do pretty well. I have a messenger bag. I like coffee. I'm not really a matcha guy, but this is green tea. Close enough.
Great. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah, just throw a copy of like The Ethical Slut in your bag and pop that out and read it in public.
Is yerba mate a kind of matcha? Because I do like a yerba. Not like I don't go out and get it all the time. I make my coffee and tea at home. I don't waste money at Starbucks. Anyway, this is the Halloween show. We've gone off the rails. I don't know how we got into that. I think it was my fault. I'm pretty sure it was my fault. I think I started that. Anyway, so we should move on and talk about stuff. Unless you weren't. Were you done catching up, Ryan?
Oh, I'm caught up. Watch my video.
Okay.
It's a video.
You might think it's going to make you angry, but he makes some good points. And at the end, you'll be like, I guess I'm not actually angry. He made some good points. Okay, so moving on, I think for the roundtable discussion, we're going to, I don't know what else I can say about Circle Magic. Circle Magic, hashtag Circle Magic. That should get us some clicks. Do we want to talk about Morktober? Or if you guys have a lot to say about Circle Magic, we can, hello, Red Hulk. If you have a lot to say about it, we could do that. What do you want to do?
I feel like we said a lot about Circle Magic a couple shows ago. Which is kind of a bummer that we were kind of too early on that. Now that it's the popular thing to talk about this week.
It's fine. We'll just like clip it and insert it here. We are running out of time. I will say it is later than it seems, boyos.
We do have a hard out today.
Yeah.
So should we just skip the roundtable discussion? Oh wait. Okay. Here. Okay. Let's do this. I know what we're gonna do. Enough fiffing and faffing. I'm gonna make an executive decision. We're gonna do a 1-room dungeon based on the word of the day, which is pumpkins. We're going to come up with a pumpkin encounter right now for Morktober, for the final day of Morktober.
Okay. I got one.
Oh, crap. Yeah. Let's go.
All right. So it's a puzzle encounter and there's jack-o'-lanterns all around the room. And And in order to open the secret passage, you have to use the 8 schools of magic. So you have 8 jack-o'-lanterns. You have to use the 8 schools of magic and cast the schools of magic into each of the jack-o'-lanterns in order to ignite the jack-o'-lantern and open the secret passage. And then you would just need to come up with a series of clues to help players figure out that that's the goal of the puzzle.
And then the what if the transmutation jack-o'-lantern turns into a monster?
It's
The final one is the transmutation one, and you zap it with whatever, and then it's like Krampus is now.
Yeah, or like a pumpkin golem, right?
What's the Halloween Pumpkinhead?
Pumpkinhead,
right?
Yeah.
That's a movie bad guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Jack Skeleton is kind of that too.
Let me see if I can find stats for Pumpkinhead. 5e Pumpkin.
Another Nacho in Discord story. Nacho was talking about flame skulls, and I was like, for like a Halloween one shot. I was like, the headless horseman, Ichabod Crane, just throwing a flaming skull. Like insert that inside of a pumpkin, and bingo bango. It's one of my favorite monsters. My mind instantly went to you're in like James and the Giant Peach, but a pumpkin. You're inside. Clearly, it's difficult terrain. It's all like delicious, but like I don't know, kind of fibrous and slippery at the same time. And who else is in there eating stuff? Carrion crawlers, but for inside a giant pumpkin.
That'd be a cool room in the middle of like a hag's lair. Like the hag's lair is like her house is a giant pumpkin, the hag's home, but then there's other pumpkin and rooms her like manor is a series of giant pumpkins that are all hollowed out in different rooms. One of the rooms is unfinished, so it's full of pumpkin guts and your carrion crawlers.
Here is from D&D Wiki. Here's a Pumpkinhead stats. This is a CR3 creature. It has a removable head, which seeing that made me think if when in the giant pumpkin, if one of the rooms still has the little jack-o'-lanterns, the Pumpkinhead creature could maybe get different abilities by inserting different heads. So there's the jack-o'-lanterns, and like he goes and grabs the evocation pumpkin and jack-o'-lantern and puts it on his head, and now he can fireball you. So you've got to smash the pumpkins.
It's like a reverse Mega Man situation.
Yeah, I like that. We're spitballing some great ideas here for pumpkin-themed adventures.
All this stuff is free to use, folks. Not even behind a paywall. You get all this for free.
I will say, go for it.
Well, I was going to say a quick and easy way to do a low-level one-shot for Halloween, and you need stats for the Headless Horseman, is you just take like a ghoul or a ghast and put them on the back of the skeleton horse, because those stat blocks are in every basic monster manual, no matter what edition you're playing. And then just like basically give it the equivalent of like a firebolt cantrip. That's the flaming skulls that it throws. And boom, now you have a stat block for your Headless Horseman, and you basically just steal the clues right out of the classic story and put your players in the middle of the forest. Boom.
Nice.
Halloween one shot done.
So there you go. There's your pumpkin themed encounter. And we've got a hard out here in a few minutes, but there is one more quick thing I wanted to get to. Since I was just speaking about Dungeon of the Mad Mage, a group of modders, 400 of them to be exact, are recreating Dungeon of the Mad Mage inside Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty wild. 400 modders, 400 of them. I mean, I'm sure it's everybody's volunteering. They're working part-time here and there. I'm sure many of those 400 are probably an hour or two a week or whatever they can donate. But yeah, they're doing all the 23 dungeon levels and Skullport, which is, it took us 4 years to get through, just to play through that in at an actual table. It says one of the reasons they chose it was because it doesn't have like an act structure and like definite choices that really change things. Like there's
Mm.
not a real deep overarching story to the whole thing. So they
Mm.
can kind of recreate it all and plop in the NPCs and just sort of let it go wherever it needs to go. Let's
Yeah, it's
how
a
much
classic mega dungeon, right? So it's like you don't need a lot of plot.
oops, I don't want that. This is yeah, they've mocked up the yawning portal already, which I mean, if good luck and Godspeed if you can get this done ever. Even with 400 people, this is a big project.
Yeah, it is. I wonder if this would like set like Guinness record for the largest mod project. Like, has there ever been a video game where you've got 400 like basically third party creators modding an entire you know part of the game?
I just felt a great disturbance in the force. Thousands of Minecraft people screaming in rage. 6-7.
I don't know, 6-7. I don't know, but this reminds me of Black Mesa a bit. Black Mesa was that very famous Half-Life 2 mod that
Oh
involved lots
yeah.
and lots of people, and basically they spent 15 years they spent so long making it that it was pretty famous for the first 5 years or so they were working on it. Everybody was like, "We're pulling for you, we're pulling for you." Still, nothing real. Still, yeah, still, and eventually people just stopped caring about it, and they put it out eventually. Brad, is your phone on the table?
Oh my bad.
They put it out, but I mean, it was like 15 years later, and nobody cared about it. It's like all those people had grown up and stopped playing video games. So I mean, I would love for them to get this done. I love Baldur's Gate 3, and I would like more content.
That would be a lot more content with that many levels of a dungeon for sure.
If they can, I mean, oof. But I mean, it's pretty ambitious. Like they're making original custom companions.
Hmm.
And I know they're looking for voice actors to donate their time. Um, Expanded level range of 1 to 20, which is very interesting because there was a good reason the I don't remember what it was, but it was the Baldur's Gate 3 developers were looking at they decided to cap the game at level 12 because of one specific 7th level spell. I can't remember.
Mm.
I think maybe it was reverse gravity. They were like starting to figure out they were like we would have had to redo the whole game from the beginning to make reverse gravity work or something, and they were like we're just got to cap it because these higher level spells are just too like they're just way too game breaking.
I mean that makes sense.
That's been my experience with pen and paper D&D.
Yeah, my group, my Wednesday group, we're at a little bit of an impasse now because I want to play lower level D&D. I want to do low level. I want to do like a 1 to 8 campaign, and they want to do like a 7 to 15. They want to do higher level, and I'm like, I need a break. We've been playing tier 4 for the last year, and I'm tired of combats where it takes an hour to come back around to my turn.
Yeah,
I
just play Shadow
agree.
Dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I
I
like
mean,
old school essentials. It's like, yeah, I like level 1 play. Like, oh, you got shot in the face with an arrow, you might die. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that helps my immersion. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you want to play super heroic fantasy, just play Daggerheart. I feel like
yeah.
Daggerheart feels a lot more like cinematic combat, heroic fantasy, and it runs much tighter than high level D&D.
Yeah, I think we are probably going to. I'm trying to push people toward Curse of Strahd because it's still the pretty much the one 5e WotC adventure I have not read.
Hmm.
Still the one I've been saving. And Tomb of Annihilation, I haven't read that one either. Um,
I am running it and deeply enjoying it. I did a couple levels of homebrew because I sandboxed them pretty hard of like there's 3 campaigns in front of you, which way do you go? And we went to Strahd. So I did Death House, but they weren't level 1 when they started it, which I think was wise. But I've been really enjoying it. I think I actually put the fear of I almost said fear of God, the fear of Strahd into the players a little too much. So we definitely spent like a month of them like not going hard enough because I was like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill, and I was like, oh, okay, hold on, like you also have to play the game, that you can't just hide in the corner. You have to make choices. But it's fun, it's good.
This current season of NADPod, Not Another D&D Podcast, they're doing like a Strahd campaign, and it's very funny. Their main goal is they want to defeat Strahd because their goal is to open up a Fuddruckers in Barovia. And Strahd has made it impossible to get permits and to the supply lines to get beef in and that kind of stuff. So that's their whole goal, is they're trying to be business people, and so they got to take down Strahd because he's standing in the way. Very funny.
I love it.
So we've got a heart out. We got to wrap things up. And I think we're ready to reveal the theme of our costumes now. I was going to think on it, and then I forgot that I said that. I was going to think of something in the background during the episode, and I forgot until just now. We're going as podcasters.
There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, look at us.
Yeah, the 90s have come back around, and I'm here for it. My jeans are way looser than the last jeans I bought, and I'm doing flannel again. We haven't got to that point of the 90s yet, but kids out there, just keep doing what you're doing, and eventually they'll come back to you.
Baggy jeans, Nirvana, flannel, it's all coming back around. I just had to wait.
Yep. I picked just the right time to lose weight. I lost like 20 pounds this year. So now my jeans that, used to fit snug now are loose, and I don't even have to go buy new jeans.
There you go. Baggy jeans for the win. I noped the whole skinny jean thing from beginning to end. I said, I'm going to stand over here and just wait till that's over. And I did. And maybe people made fun of my baggy jeans. I don't give a shit. I don't care one bit. Comfort when you reach my age. Comfort's what's important. Anyways, we got to get out of here. All right. Thanks for watching. We love you, and have a great weekend. Go. Don't eat no razor blades and apples. Check your apples for razor blades. That never actually happened. That was a myth. All right.
Urban legend.